Hi guys, and welcome to the CPC podcast with me, your host, Alfonso Greenbrook. Today in Pod 20, I'll be looking at a result over Philadelphia Union in pre-season, and we'll be discussing the match, player performances, as well as showing you highlights from the game. We'll also be hearing from Pardew and Andrew Townsend and what they had to say after the game. So let's begin. Preparations for the 2016-17 Premier League season started with a goalless draw against high-flying Philadelphia Union at the Talen Energy Stadium. Despite not finding a net in the 90 minutes, the Eagles managed to give runouts to all of their outfield players, and in a quiet first 45 minutes were surpassed after the break, with only a good display from Matt Jones in the Union goal denying Alan Pardew's men a winning start to their three-game tour. Having not played for nearly 2 months, there was a bit of ring rust for the visitors to shake off, and it showed in the scrappy opening 25 minutes, which only produced a single chance for each side. Firstly, Keegan Rossbury swung in a cross, but CJ Sangbong could only stab the ball into the side netting, and at the other end, Freddie Lapadeau shot straight at John McCarthy with the Eagles' first for tray forward. Also, unsurprisingly, given they were fully match sharp, the Union enjoyed the majority of possession and territory in the first half, but chances remained few and far between. However, on 27 minutes, Rosenberry went close when he volleyed downwards into the turf following a Rowan Algberg corner, but the ball spun over Julian Speroni's crossbar. 5 minutes later, another set piece into the box caused problems when CJ Sangpong beat Speroni to Alberg's delivery, but his header flashed over, and on 40 minutes, the best chance of the half arrived at Walters Respond's feet when a quick throw-in allowed Sangbong to race away and cut the ball back into the edge of the box, but the midfielder blazed it over. Lapadeau managed to eke out a second opportunity for himself out of nothing when he stuck in behind Josh Yabo after a poor touch by the defender to prod the ball goalwards, but McCarthy blocked with his body, and that was as good as things got for the visibly tiring Eagles' first 11 in the first half. As expected, a raft of changes took place at the interval, with the Union making 9 changes to Pardew's 3, which saw James Tompkins make his debut, and the alterations had the desired effect on the second half, as it was much livelier than the one before. Earlier on, Leo Ferdinand twice screwed the ball harmlessly off target before another face in Andrew Townsend cracked the ball into the side netting in what was a highlight of a solid debut for the £13 million man. As the quality of the field improved, so did the play, and soon Palace were looking much more dangerous and creating plenty of chances, but some inspired goalkeeping kept them at bay. On the hour mark, Connor Wickham controlled the ball just outside the area, spun around the defender and unleashed a venomous strike, but it was pushed past the post by substitute stopper Jones, and Union's third-choice goalkeeper then had to do the same when Bakary Sakho took aim midway through the half, but again it was diverted away for a corner. However, he made his best save when Sakho slipped in Wickham, who sped goalward and looked destined to find the net, but Jones stayed big and got a hand to the effort, which prevented the deadlock being broken. There was one final chance for the Eagles, but Tompkins couldn't cap his first game in red and blue with a goal as his header flashed wide of the far post as the spoils were shared. So at this part of the podcast, I would normally give you sort of player rankings for each of the players, but as this was a pre-season friendly, all of the players from the bench and all of the players playing were playing, so there's actually quite a lot of players to review, and actually that would take up quite a lot of time. So what I've done is, instead of doing a player rankings, let's say, I'm just going to review some of the key players or the best players throughout the game, some of the players who may have not done so well, but mainly the players that done really well, and just sum up sort of the best sort of 3 or 4 players from the game, and then, you know, discuss sort of the substitutions, whether they were effective or not. And I think that that's better rather than reviewing all of the players, because there would be way too many. And also, I weren't there, so it's not. I've seen the highlights, but it's not really fair for me to rate players based on just highlights because I wasn't at the game. So there's sort of reasons I'm not going to do it. But hopefully, you know, just going through sort of the key 3 or 4 players who did sort of change the game will help you understand or have a feel for the game. And then after this, what I'm going to do, I've got together the highlights of the game. I'll show you the highlights of the game, and then I'll bring you some exclusive interviews with both Alan Pardew and Andros Townsend after the game. So you might as well start in goal. Obviously, Julian Speroni. The defence is Ward, Kelly, Dan, Friars. Then in the midfield, it was Boateng and Much doing the more defensive work. Then on the wings, I believe this is how it was set up. It depends really because he changed it. But I personally think it was Townsend on one wing, Punching on the other, and Kai and Lapido up front. So actually, that lineup was all right. I think made up of a few sort of ring-rusty players, let's say. The likes of Fryer, Much, Lapido, players who haven't played that much. But actually, 2 players or 2 or 3 players to highlight really is Lapido. Lapido came from Margate Palace and everyone was a bit dubious, but actually he played really well. He was class. He had a few opportunities, and if it weren't for the goalkeeper being as tall as he is or having as long arms as he did, he wouldn't have been able to block them shots, and he probably would have scored 2 or 3 goals. But you know, this is the sort of player we need, a very physical player, a very fast player, and Lapido is that. Also, Kai, who I think was playing sort of with Lapido up front. Kai had an absolute superb game. Didn't really have many opportunities on goal, but certainly was supplying the ball into the air and making runs like what you would expect of Kai. You know, a winger or striker or centre mid, whatever you want to call him really, who can run around the pitch, find a pass, make a run and stuff like that. And also the main man himself, Andros Townsend, 30 million, and he's already showing his class already. He actually stayed on the pitch for best part of 60 minutes, and he was superb in that game. You know, the amount of crosses he produced was superb. The amount of crossings, you know, when I say crossings, I mean when he runs inside from the wing and has a shot using his other foot. So he's really good at cutting across, doing stuff like that, and just overall a really good attacking threat. And all the other players, you know, they were still a bit rusty, the likes of a Kelly, Fryer, Boateng, but certainly I think that as the pre-season goes on, and like the second half really, the players get into the gist of things and get better. And one of the players who I was really surprised to see on the team sheet was actually Zeki Friars. So Zeki Friars hasn't really played under Pardew. He rarely played under Warnock. But, you know, he had an opportunity and he actually stayed on the pitch for the full 9 minutes, which shows that he's actually full to fitness. So if we do have an injury, we did keep the clean sheet. So maybe bring in Friars if we have a problem like we did last season with injuries, and maybe he'd be able to cover it. But obviously, that was the starting 11. But obviously, as the game went on, players got tired, and obviously in pre-season you changed more or less all the players. So the players who came on were Kroll for Ward, Delaney on for Kelly, Tompkins, the main man himself, new signing, came on for Scott Dan, Sacco came on for Much, Lee Chung-yong came on for Townsend, Wickham came on for Punchin, Zaha came on for Kai, and Fraser Campbell came on for Lapido. And obviously the goalkeeper, I apologise if I say this wrong, I think it's Pertron. He was not used obviously because you rarely change goalkeepers even in pre-season. So they were the changes. A few of them changes to sort of pinpoint out, I suppose, are Tompkins, Sacco, Wickham and Zaha. Obviously they were very good attacking threats, and Tompkins, he's a centre-back. What Pardew done is that he brought Tompkins on in sort of just after half time, and he put him sort of up front. So in the second half, we sort of won a succession of corners. So what he done, he put Tompkins up there, and Tompkins had 2 headers, just went wide of the goal he could have scored on his debut. But certainly a good performance from him. Obviously Sacco as well had a shot from outside the box, got saved by the keeper. He did then get the ball into Wickham. You know, lovely crisp pass there from Sacco into Wickham. Wickham couldn't get enough power on it to get it past the keeper, but certainly Wickham as well linking up very well with Sacco. And Sacco was on free kicks as well. A few of them deliveries were very good. And Zaha, you know, we all know what we want from Zaha, what we expect from him. He is just his pace, his sheer passing ability, his crossing ability, his ability to run past players, his cutting across, everything like that was superb. There was no faults really for him. But they were all of the player performances, let's say. So that was just sort of me summing up the best sort of few performances from the game. But hopefully, players sort of like Lapadot and Kaikai and Townsend who've shown what they can do. They've shown one of their best performances. Hopefully, they can duplicate that and get an opportunity next season. And that the same goes to Hima Boateng. So the man of the match award, obviously, I would normally do this as a separate part, but I think, you know, there's only one person to give it to, and that is Townsend, just because of his sheer ability to find a pass, to find a cross, his ability to run, his ability to shoot, to everything like that. All of that sort of was in his game the other day, and ultimately, if, you know, everyone was a bit more fit, fitness-wise was slightly higher, maybe we would have got more from that. But, you know, my man of the match award for the game against Philadelphia Union goes to Andros Townsend. So congratulations, but you do not get you don't really get a trophy or anything, but you do get my sincere congratulations because you're showing us clearly why you're worth £30 million. So now you've seen obviously the player rankings or the player report. I'm now going to show you highlights of the game against Philadelphia Union. So there you have it. That was the game highlights from the game against Philadelphia Union, and that now concludes my podcast review. Now we're going to listen to what Pardew and Andros Townsend had to say after the game.
A goalless draw this evening, but for so early in the pre-season, are you pleased with the performance from your players?
Well, you know, they're right at the top of the league, Philadelphia, and it showed. They're a good side. But we got better as the game went on, got stronger. It was a really good effort from us for our first game. Lacked a little bit of sharpness around the box, as you would expect, but our energy levels and work rate was really the highest order for the first game.
A couple of players, their first game in a Palace shirt today, Andros Townsend and James Tompkins. What do you think about their performances?
I thought Townsend was a little bit of a highlight of the night for us. He had some great moments in that game, and just goes to show what threat he's going to be. With Wilf and Balassi, you know, that's kind of mouth-watering, so what we see in some of the moments tonight. James got stretched. Two first things he did was got run down the sides, and just picked up a little injury, but so he did well to get through the game, really. It's great to see him in the shirt because these guys are going to threaten the team.
And the one player not involved, James McCarthy, tonight, is that just a small problem?
Yeah, he got a little problem with his knee tonight, so we'll have to see how that was. He only aggravated it yesterday, so I don't think he's going to make the Cincinnati game, but fingers crossed for Vancouver.
Yeah, as you said, we go on to Cincinnati. How was your time in Philadelphia?
Terrific, you know, tremendous response we've had from everybody here. It's been a very welcome for us, and we've really enjoyed it, and it's been a great 3 days. We've really worked hard, and the match tonight, there was not one unsavoury moment in the game, and that's not often that happens. A few professional fouls, but not one nasty challenge, and that's really good. That's why you come to these countries. They play the game in the right way. It was a great game, and fair credit to them. as much as we could have won it, they could have won it. So it's a good game.
Andros, first game in a Palace jersey, how was it?
Yeah, it was good. It was nice to get out there after a few weeks of training and finally put on the shirt and try and get the fitness in before the season starts.
And what kind of steps did you take to adjust to being a Crystal Palace player?
I think it was pretty easy. The first day I came in, the boys welcomed me. We got to work straight away and they helped me settle as quick as possible. And I think you see out there, I'm trying to build the links with the right back, with the number 10, with the strikers, and sure, as time goes on and as the pre-season goes on, that sort of connection will come.
Not a bad result tonight. What's your reaction?
No, of course, I think pre-season, of course you want to win it, but it's all about fitness. So we got players who've got 45 minutes, a couple that got 90 minutes, a few, like myself, got 60 minutes. So, no, it's all about fitness. These guys are a good side. They're second in their league. They're fighting the Red Bulls. So, and we knew it wasn't going to be easy and it was difficult today, but I think we're happy with a draw at the end of it.
What's your reaction been to the Palace fanatics who have come here to Philadelphia to support you guys?
Yeah, no, they've been fantastic. I think I know from the past how passionate the Americans are about football, and we had an open training session yesterday, and a lot of fans came to support us. And again today, they came in a lot of numbers and they cheered us on. And I'm sure it'll be the same when we go to Cincinnati and Vancouver.
Andros, best of luck this season. Thank you so much.
So there, now you've heard what Pardew and Andros Townsend had to say. That concludes my match review of Crystal Palace versus Philadelphia Union. But make sure to come back in the next few weeks where I'll continue to review the rest of the games in pre-season. So thanks for watching and remember to up the Palace.